Lundberg. Marble. Martinez-Huminick. Martinez-Huminick.
Excused.
Merrifield. Moreno. Neville. Priola. Scott. Smallwood. Sonnenberg. Sonnenberg.
Excused.
Tate. Todd. Williams. Sinzinger. Garcia.
It is a thriving, massive city, growing, and it's largely because of the choice that was made 50 years ago between Leeds and Bradford that Leeds would attract the arts and culture. And that has redounded to Leeds's financial benefit as well as artistic and cultural benefit. And I think that tale of two cities is an important one to know for Colorado. It underscores how important cultural facilities are, and it makes us even greater, it puts us in even greater appreciation of the mission of the Scientific and Cultural Facilities District. So thank you to that organization.
Senators Todd and Fields.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I request a moment of personal privilege.
Granted. Let's keep
Thank
it
you.
short.
Thank you. And even though Arapahoe County was mentioned, I have to give a shout out to the city of Aurora, because this last weekend, one of the members, I know we can't mention which one, but served in our chamber for many years, is retired Air Force. So all of you that are on SCFD board know who I'm talking about, but I can't mention GP. And so we were celebrating a gala for the Fox Theater. And this is a theater that was really in need of dire repair many years ago and has been rebuilt, and the entire area of theater in Aurora is something to be reckoned with. And so the gala was celebrated this past weekend, and the opening season has been announced. And so even though we have wonderful theater right downtown Denver, I invite you to come to Aurora and join us.
Thank you, Mr. President, for this moment of personal privilege. And thank you, Senator from Arapahoe County, for acknowledging the theater district that's in Aurora, which is in Senate District 29. I just want to say thank you to all who are here today, because I can't imagine our state without the gardens. I can't imagine our state without the Denver Center for Performing Arts, or our zoo, or our Natural and Science Museum, or the Denver Arts Museum. Everything that you all do enrich our community and our neighborhoods, and it promotes the growth of our children. So thank you for all you do, and thanks for being here. It's an honor to recognize you.
Senator Kafalis.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, colleagues. You're very kind, sir. I request a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Very quickly, in light of honoring the Science and Cultural Facilities District and all of this discussion of zoos and other kinds of important facilities, I'm motivated to sing an old Simon and Garfunkel song, It's All Happening at the Zoo. I'm just kidding.
Senator Sinzinger.
May I request a moment of personal privilege? May I request a moment of personal privilege?
Granted, we're still technically in your moment of personal privilege.
Oh, fantastic. then I'll just tag on. So with that, again, we just want to welcome the SCFD, welcome Popsicle. Popsicle will be available in the corner if you'd like to take pictures. And then today, we will have exhibitors from the Butterfly Pavilion, the Denver Zoo, Hawk Quest, and Swallow Hill Music, which will be here in the interactive exhibits. And then at 10:30, we will probably be busy doing other things, but the governor will be offering a proclamation at 10:30 in the West Foyer. And so congratulations and thank you, members, for your attention this morning.
Senator Zenzinger, is it true that there will be an exhibition bear wrestling match between Popsicle and Mr. Majors? Where is that going to be? Is that going to be in the West Foyer as well? Okay. Please add Senator Sonnenberg to the roll. Committee reports.
April 23rd, 2018, Committee on State Veterans and Military Affairs of Consideration Mayor's Committee following Senate Concurrent Resolution 2 be referred to committee to hold a favorable recommendation. April 23rd, 2018, Committee on State Veterans and Military Affairs of Consideration Mayor's Committee following Senate Bill 241 be referred favorably to Committee on Appropriations. April 23rd, 2018, Committee on State Veterans and Military Affairs of Consideration Mayor's Committee following House Bill 1245 be postponed indefinitely. April 23rd, 2018, Committee on State Veterans and Military Affairs of Consideration Mayor's Committee following House Bill 1348 be referred favorably to the committee to hold a favorable recommendation placed on the consent calendar. April 23rd, 2018, Committee on State Veterans and Military Affairs of Consideration Mayor's Committee following House Bill 1312 be postponed indefinitely. April 23rd, 2018, Committee on Judiciary of Consideration Mayor's Committee following House Bill 1307 be referred favorably to the committee to hold with a favorable recommendation placed on the consent calendar. April 23rd, 2018, Committee on Judiciary after consideration of Mayor's Committee following House Bill 1344 be referred to the committee to hold a favorable recommendation be placed on the consent calendar. April 23rd, 2018, Committee on Judiciary after consideration of Mayor's Committee following House Bill 1200 be referred favorably to the Committee on Appropriations. April 23rd, 2018, Committee on Judiciary after consideration of Mayor's Committee following House Bill 1176 be referred favorably to the Committee on Appropriations.
Senate Services.
Correctly engrossed, Senate Bill 226, 230, 234, 236, 238, 239, 242. Correctly re-engrossed, Senate Bill 1659, 163, and 233. Senate Concurrent Resolution 3. Correctly revised, House Bill 1181, 1187, 1277. Correctly re-revised, House Bill 1270, 1283, and 1335. Correctly enrolled, Senate Bill 62.
Third reading of bills, consent calendar. Mr. Carpenter, would you please read the titles to all the bills on the third reading of bills consent calendar?
Senate Bill 239 by Senator Marble and Representatives Arnold Becker J. concerning a licensed chiropractor's ability to perform animal chiropractic on an animal patient. Senate Bill 234 by Senators Quorum and Crowder and Representatives Kraft, Tharp, and Catlin concerning measures to reduce the sale without consent of the remains of a human who was born alive. House Bill 1277 by Representatives Becker J. and Esgar and Senators Baumgardner and Gonzalez concerning a requirement that an application for a Building Excellence Schools Today Act grant of financial assistance for public schools capital construction include a plan for the future use or disposition of any existing public schools facility that the applicant will stop using for its current use if it receives the grant.
Majority Leader Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move all of the bills listed on the third reading of bills consent calendar, including Senate Bill 239, Senate Bill 234, and House Bill 1277.
Is there any discussion? The motion for the body is the adoption of all the bills on the third reading of bills consent calendar. Are there any no votes? With 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, Senate Bill 239 is adopted. Co-sponsors: Senator Tate, Senator Quorum, Senator Martinez-Humenick, Senator Todd, Senator Kerr, with 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, Senate Bill 234 is adopted. Co-sponsors: Senator Tate. Please, Senator Kagan. Please add the President, and Senator Gardner, and Senator Priola. With 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, House Bill 1277 is adopted. Co-sponsors: Senator Crowder, Senator Martinez-Humenick, Senator Scott, Senator Merrifield, Senator Quorum, Senator Gardner, Senator Tate, We are on co-sponsors on 1277. Senator Cook, Leader Garcia, Senator Todd, Senator John, Senator Williams, Senator Guzman, Senator Kerr, Senator Donovan. Third reading of bills. Mr. Carpenter, would you please read the title of the Senate Bill 230?
Senate Bill 230 by Senator Marble and Representative Singh concerning modification of the laws governing the establishment of drilling units for oil and gas wells and in connection therewith, clarifying that a drilling unit may include more than one well, providing limited immunity to non-consenting owners subject to pooling orders, adjusting cost recovery from non-consenting owners, and modifying the conditions upon which a pooling order may be entered.
Senator Marble.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Bill 230 on third reading and final passage and ask for an aye vote.
Further discussion. Senator Jones.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, members, this bill is a sweetheart deal for oil and gas. It's a big giveaway of money from regular people's property to oil and gas corporations that likely aren't even headquartered in the state. People need to know that this thing called forced pooling is a form of condemnation. It's corporate eminent domain. If you own the mineral property below your house, for instance, and a corporation says they want to drill sideways for a mile or two, every person along there, if the corporation just gets one person and goes to the state and gets a pooling order, which are always approved, almost always, I've never found one that hasn't been, they have to become a partner with the corporation even if they don't want their mineral right to be sold, leased, or become a partner. A witness in committee said when she was forced pooled, when she was condemned in this way, that it felt like China. And I agree with that. No other industry is allowed to make people sell or lease or become a partner with a corporation like this. This bill makes it even more lucrative for oil and gas and gives a worse deal to the regular person who does not want to be a working interest partner with this corporation. They're probably already near these wells and put up with the nuisance issues and the potential for an explosion. We had 15 of those last year and 4 deaths. And now they're told that they have to become a partner with this oil and gas company. This happened to my parents. My mother was livid. My father asked me, can they really do this? And I said, Dad, I think they can. Because regular people are given a really bad deal in this. It's the kind of thing that we don't allow for any other industry. If this were Walmart coming in here, there'd be a riot. But somehow it's okay. And the Oil and Gas Commission has no idea how many people they do this to. None. They know they do 300 to 500 of these orders that affect hundreds, if not thousands, of private property owners every year. Yet they routinely approve these. This bill makes it even more lucrative for the oil and gas company to do that and gives even less money to the property owner who doesn't want to be any part of this. This is just plain wrong. This bill makes a bad problem even worse. I ask for a no vote on this. Regular people should be our priority, not corporations that are from out of state. I want you to tell your constituents about this when you go there and justify that to them. Regular people having to become a partner or sell. It's used as a threat, so they have to sell or lease their mineral interest, their private property. Vote no on this bill. If you're for the regular person, I am. I ask you to do the same.
Is there any further discussion? The motion for the body is the adoption of Senate Bill 230. Are there any no votes? Leader Garcia, Senator Guzman, Senator Jones, Senator Moreno, Senator Kagan, Senator Koufalos, Senator Donovan, Senator Court, Senator Kerr, Senator Finberg, Senator Merrifield, Senator Todd, Senator Williams, Senator Aguilar, Senator Fields, Senator Zenzinger. With 19 ayes, 16 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, Senate Bill 230 is adopted. Co-sponsors, Senator Crowder, Senator Cook, Mr. Carpenter, would you please read the title of Senate Bill 238?
Senate Bill 238 by Senator Crowder and Representative Valdez concerning labor by persons confined in county jails.
Senator Crowder.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Bill 238 and ask for an aye vote. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? The motion before the body is the adoption of Senate Bill 238. Are there any no votes? Senator Kerr, Senator Aguilar, Senator Moreno, Senator Donovan, Senator Kafalis, Senator Fields, Senator Jones, Senator Zenzinger, Senator Guzman, Senator Williams, Senator Todd, Senator Merrifield, Leader Garcia, Senator Fenberg. 21 ayes, 14 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused. Senate Bill 238 is adopted. Co-sponsors, Senator Tate. Mr. Carpenter, would you please read the title of the Senate Bill 242?
Senate Bill 242 by Senator Marble and Representative Leonard concerning the swearing of a public official oath of office.
Senator Marble.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Bill 242 and third reading, final passage, and ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion? The motion before the body is the adoption of Senate Bill 242. Are there any no votes? Senator Zenzinger, Senator Moreno, Senator Fields, Senator Kafalis, Senator Kagan, Senator Donovan, Senator Guzman, Senator Aguilar, Senator Williams, Senator Jones, Senator Todd, Senator Kerr, Senator Merrifield, Senator John, Senator Fenberg, Leader Garcia. With 19 ayes, 16 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, Senate Bill 242 is adopted. Co-sponsors, Senator Crowder, Senator Lundberg, Senator Neville, Senator Lambert, Senator Tate, Senator Baumgardner, Senator Priola, Senator Cook, Senator Sonnenberg, Senator Scott. Please add the President. Mr. Carpenter, would you please read the title of the Senate Bill 236?
Senate Bill 236 by Senator Neville and Representative Sandridge concerning the Department of Regulatory Agency determination regarding the regulation of professions and occupations.
Senator Neville.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Bill 236 on third and final reading and ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion? The motion before the body is the adoption of Senate Bill 236. Are there any no votes? Leader Garcia, Senator Fenberg, Senator Merrifield, Senator Aguilar, Senator Donovan, Senator Moreno, Senator Jones, Senator Zenzinger, Senator Fields, Senator Kafalis, Senator Kerr, Senator Todd, Senator Guzman, Senator Kagan. 21 ayes, 14 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused. Senate Bill 236 is adopted. Co-sponsors, Senator Tate, Senator Gardner, Senator Smallwood, Senator Martinez-Humenick, Senator Lambert, Senator Baumgardner, Senator Lundberg, Senator Scott, Senator Hill. Please add the President. Mr. Carpenter, please read the title of House Bill 1187.
House Bill 1187 by Representatives Buckner and Landgraf and Senators Cook and Moreno concerning the lawful use of prescription drug that contains cannabidiol that is approved by the United States Food and Drug Administration.
Senator Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move House Bill 1187 on third reading and final passage.
Is there any further discussion? The motion before the body is the adoption of House Bill 1187. Are there any no votes? 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused. House Bill 1187 is adopted. Co-sponsors: Senator Hill, Senator Crowder, Senator Marble, Senator Neville, Senator Gardner, Senator Martinez-Humenick, Senator Baumgardner, Senator Tate, Senator Smallwood, Senator Priola, Senator Scott, Senator Lambert, Senator Merrifield, Senator Todd, Senator John, Senator Williams, Senator Kagan, Senator Fenberg, Senator Kafalis, Senator Fields, Leader Garcia. Senator Kerr. Majority Leader Senator Zenzinger and Senator Jones. Majority Leader Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. President. For lack of a House sponsor, I move to lay over Senate Bill 226 till Wednesday, April 25th. 226.
Motion.
Lay over Senate Bill 226 till tomorrow for lack of a House sponsor.
The motion is to lay over Senate Bill 226 till tomorrow, April 25th. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, no. Ayes have it, and that will lay over. Senator Tate, actually, Mr. Carpenter, would you please read the title to House Bill 1181?
House Bill 1181 by Representative Liston and Senator Tate concerning measures to expand the ability of non-resident electors to participate in the governance of special districts in connection therewith, allowing non-resident electors who own taxable property within the special district to vote in special district elections and allowing such electors to serve in special district boards in a non-voting capacity.
Senator Tate.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move House Bill 1181 on third reading and ask for an aye vote, please.
Is there any further discussion? Senator Fields.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, I urge a no vote on House Bill 1181. In the state of Colorado, a citizen or a resident in Colorado can vote in local, state, and federal elections. What this bill does, it expands the right to vote if you own property in another district. I come, and I believe you believe this as well, it should be one person, one vote. What this bill does is one person has the opportunity to vote twice, and that's just not right. Plus, if you look at the details of this bill, it also grants this person the right to serve on district boards in that district. This is not the right thing to be doing. This bill is about property owners asserting their right of ownership of the property that they own in a different district to vote in that district when they don't live in that district. Should we be giving them the right to vote in an area that they do not live? I say no. So vote no on House Bill 1181.
Senator Neville.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, just to remind you that this is only regarding the property owners. This would only be voting in regard to who makes up the board. It is an opt-in that is allowed if that board, if that special district allows for an opt-in of those property owners. And of course, those property owners are paying the taxes for the support of the board in all of its dealings. So, taxation without representation is probably not a good thing. And just to remind you that this is only regarding the makeup of the board and allowing for those people to have a voice since they are being taxed on those properties.
Senator Donovan.
Thank you, Mr. President. sure, we can say it's opt-in, and we can certainly say it's just about the board, but if you have communities where the majority is second homeowners, then those second homeowners have the majority to make those decisions. So I just want people to be incredibly thoughtful about this bill. For some communities, this will mean that their voice is minimized in making their own decisions about their town. Okay? So I have communities where over half of the people are property owners but not residents. And this bill resets the paradigm. Okay? The majority of people are property owners but not full-time residents. And that the community, because it was originally built up in an unincorporated area of a county, that will shift how their community decisions are made going into the future. Thank you, Mr. President. I ask for a no vote on third reading. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Colleagues, we are still on third reading. You can take your conversations to the side or out in the antechamber. Senator Sonnenberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask you to consider this and the reality as such in someone like my position. If I have land in Washington County, but I live in Logan County, and a board of directors makes decisions based on the taxing of that land, should I not have a say in who that board of director is? Should I not be able to vote even though I don't live in Washington County, I live in the neighboring county? Should I be able to vote for that board member that controls the impacts of those taxes on my property? That's all this bill does. Allows a board to determine whether or not those landowners that don't live in that district can have a vote for that board, nothing else. The truth is, I'd like to see it go farther. I think I ought to be able to vote on those issues on property taxes in other counties, but that's not what this bill does. This bill is solely to allow me, if the board chooses, to access and vote for that board member. Ask for an aye vote.
Senator Crowder.
Thank you, Mr. President. I represent areas that do have the same exact situation where the greater percentage of the people who live there do not, or own there, do not live there. But the reality is a lot of these people utilize these special districts, such as fire, such as weed control. So I think this is a real decent bill. A lot of times the people that do not live there full time would like to have their premises kept up to par with fire protection, with weed control. So I think it's a decent bill, and I think we're overstating the fact that just because you don't live there, you don't take advantage of the special district. So I dispute the argument because a great amount of them don't live there that they're going to vote against everything to benefit that community. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Motion before the body is the adoption of House Bill 1181. Are there any no votes? Senator Jones, Senator Zenzinger, Senator Fields, Senator Kafalos, Senator Guzman, Leader Garcia, Senator Fenberg, Senator Court, Senator Kerr, Senator Donovan, Senator Kagan, Senator Moreno, Senator Aguilar, Senator Williams, Senator Todd, Senator Merrifield. 19 ayes, 16 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused. House Bill 1181 is adopted. Co-sponsors: Senator Cook, Senator Crowder, Senator Marble, Senator Gardner, Senator Lambert, Senator Lundberg, Senator Sonnenberg, Senator Baumgardner, Senator Scott, Senator Priola, Senator Neville, Senator Martinez-Humanic, Senator Smallwood. Please add the President. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. There's been a request to remove House Bill 1295 from the general order second reading of bills consent calendar, so that will be removed and will be placed last on the general order second reading of bills calendar. Because that was the only bill listed on the consent calendar, I think we do not have one now.
That will be removed from the consent calendar and placed at the end of the general order second reading of bills calendar. General order second reading of bills. Senator Cook.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate resolve itself into the committee of the whole for general order second reading of bills.
The motion is for the Senate to resolve itself into the committee of the whole for consideration of the general order second reading of bills calendar. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the Senate will resolve itself into the committee of the whole for consideration of the general order second reading of bills calendar. Senator Cook will take the chair.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee will come to order, and the court rule is relaxed. Majority Leader Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At your request, I move to lay over House Bill 1152 to Wednesday, April 25th.
The motion before the body is to lay over House Bill 1152 to Wednesday, April 25th. All those in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it, and House Bill 1152 will be laid over to Wednesday, April 25th. Mr. Carpenter, please read the title to Senate Bill 219.
Senate Bill 219 by Senator Tate and Representative Crafthorpe concerning the rates of motor vehicle dealer charges and motor vehicle manufacturer for work performed by the dealer in accordance with a warranty obligation.
Senator Tate.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Senate Bill 219 and the Business Committee report.
Do the Business, Labor, and Technology report. Okay, is there any further discussion on the Business, Labor, and Technology report? Seeing none, the motion for the body is the adoption of the Business, Labor, and Technology Committee report. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it, and the committee report is adopted. There is an amendment on the desk. Mr. Carpenter, please read L021.
Amendment L021, Senate Bill 219 by Senator Tatum in the Business, Labor, Technology Committee report dated April 18, 2018, page 3, line 14, strike may and substitute may conduct, page 3, line 15, strike A conduct, page 3, strike lines 18 through 28, substitute effect for the dealer. 2, a manufacturer shall not conduct a periodic review more than once per calendar year. This periodic review is not an audit in accordance.
Sorry, Mr. Chair. Thank you for recognizing me. I got distracted by my colleague. I move Senate Amendment L021 to Senate Bill 219.
Okay, the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a small amendment that both representatives from the auto dealers as well as the auto manufacturers are aware of. In the committee, we adopted an amendment that incorporated an additional audit process for manufacturers. One section of that audit language is being taken out by this amendment. It would require a whole new set of negotiations, but otherwise the additional audit capability is left in the bill, which is important. And then secondly, in an amendment I introduced in the committee in terms of a rebuttal provision from manufacturers to auto dealers, I established a provision by which a manufacturer could look at a area of 30 miles around a dealer to determine if there was a non-market rate being provided to them. I've been advised that such a distance creates potential antitrust concerns, for lack of a better term. I know that's not the proper legal term for this situation, but it does create concerns, and so this strikes that and replaces it with a very simple statement about similarly situated dealerships within the state. Other amendments adopted in the committee are being kept and are not being affected by this amendment. There was a provision introduced by my colleague from Jefferson County related to reasonableness. There was an addition amendment introduced by my colleague from Parker related to goodwill. And finally, amendment introduced by my colleague from Wheat Ridge related to damage provisions. Those are being kept. And ask and I vote on this amendment again. Both stakeholder groups are aware of the amendment. Thank you.
Any further discussion on L021? Seeing none, the motion for the body is the adoption of Amendment L021. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ayes have it, and L021 is adopted. To the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And usually I don't engage in too much discussion, but I feel like today it makes sense. You may have some deja vu related to the subject. If you remember, a year ago in April, we engaged in a subject of auto dealers and auto manufacturers, and we had a lot of discussion about the notion of adhesion contracts, bargaining power between parties in these franchise agreements. And we had a very robust bill and discussion associated with that bill affecting the parties that reflected an agreement to the parties. And that bill passed the General Assembly 100-0. One provision that was left out of that agreement was related to warranty reimbursement. The majority of states in the United States have provisions related to warranty provisions, and that is statutes directing the manner in which auto dealers get compensated for warranty services by their OEM partners. We are one of 6 states that doesn't speak to that, and we are now joining a majority of states with this legislation that provides guardrails and how that reimbursement happens. And the major provisions of the bill provide for auto dealers to submit to their manufacturing partners basically market information as to what customers are paying for repair services. And with that market information, auto dealers provide that to manufacturers to determine both a labor rate and markup rate for parts that are associated with the warranty services they provide to their industry partners. The bill, besides kind of specifying how that's calculated, also provides some direction as to what should not be included. In addition, provides a mechanism for, as I mentioned, and kind of related to the amendment, how the OEM partner can rebut the submitted findings. So thank you for your attention. Urge and I vote on the bill.
Senator Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And members, I want to rise in support of the amendments that we passed in the Business Committee and the work of my colleague from Centennial. Every year, I believe that the Business, Labor, and Technology Committee reviews the contracts of adhesion between the manufacturers and the dealers. And under the existing law, the warranty work must be provided at a motor vehicle dealership. It sets the terms for the reimbursement of the manufacturer and what they must pay for this work. We have quite a few amendments in committee that were adopted. We talked about reasonable standards. We adopted that, that 26 out of 28 states include the ability of the manufacturer to contest a dealer's submission on the grounds that the dealer's rates are unreasonable. There's 10 other states that allow the dealer to submit for retail rates but leave the manufacturer to determine the best process and procedure. We narrowed the terms goodwill, in which the goodwill should only be included to the extent that it's approved by the manufacturer. 26 of 20 other states have exclusion that do not either or exclude the word of goodwill. We had a big conversation on the changes to the number of repair orders, the dates, and other negotiated agreements. It makes the important clarifications, adjustments, and timeframes. Legal damages for dealers. The original bill included 2 times the damage for dealers if manufacturer found to have acted in bad faith We had a very good conversation on this, and we actually struck the double damages provision out of the bill. The periodic reviews, as my colleague from Centennial discussed, is that what we will do is it clarifies that the manufacturer may periodically validate the dealers, and a manufacturer can't conduct a periodic review more than once per calendar year, and it is not an audit. The audit falls under 12.6.126, and that definition is in there. And so, colleagues, again, I want to say thank you to my colleague from Centennial, because this is a tough conversation. You have the manufacturers who produce the contracts, and you have dealers who sign the contracts of adhesion. So I've been involved in a contract of adhesion, and so I do struggle with this and whether or not the legislature should be involved in the day-to-day operations or going around the contract of adhesion for manufacturers. But I believe we did a good job to find a fair and balanced bill, and I'll ask you for an aye vote.
Any further discussion? Senator Neville.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And colleagues, to agree with my counterpart, my senator from Denver, we did have a tremendous amount of conversation. And the same issues, I think, bothered both of us. The idea of contracts with adhesion, I think sometimes that's thrown out as, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing in the world. But those contracts with adhesion also grant certain privileges within the marketplace. And the good senator from Denver knows, because similarly in the industry that we're involved in, yes, you do have contracts of adhesion. And they do grant certain privileges and then also certain responsibilities that go with it. And I always remind people that no one that I know has put a gun to our heads to sign those contracts. So please keep that in mind. I think this is a bill that, when I first looked at it, created a tremendous amount of overreach from one side over the other, and it was a little bit disappointing after the challenges we had last year, and the good senator from Arapahoe County had done work last year on a bill that got us into a great place, and then to see that. However, it's a bill that has gone through some very, very strong gyrations, and I respect and thank that senator from Arapahoe County for all of his work and his patience in particular with trying to deal with this and get this to a point. And I just hope that it comes back from the other side, from that House, looking in similar shape so that we can make sure that we have a good outcome on this. So I'll be supporting today.
Senator Tate.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, colleagues, for engaging this issue. And I do want to kind of make a follow-up comment to my colleague from Jefferson Counties, and that is, yes, no guns are being held to people's heads. These, and not all contracts of adhesion are necessarily bad. Think about when you sign up for your cell phone service, for example. You get what you get and don't pitch a fit. The issue is, of course, when a local business and auto dealerships are significant businesses in our communities, employing lots of members of our communities. The issue is, once they have a significant and critical mass of capital investment, they're kind of in the contract. And at that point, they have a less of an ability to walk away than maybe at the front end of engaging the contract, or in something different, where the consequences aren't so dramatic, both for the owner and the investor or for the community. And again, thank you to my colleague from Denver County and the rest of the members on the Business Committee for providing a lot of attention and scrutiny both last year and this year to this section of statutes, and urge an aye vote on the bill. Thank you so much.
Any further discussion on Senate Bill 219? Seeing none, the motion for the body is the adoption of Senate Bill 219. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it, and Senate Bill 219 is adopted. Mr. Carpenter, please read the title to House Bill 1252.
House Bill 1252 by Representative Robertson Wilson and Senator Priola concerning unlawful sale of academic materials for submission to an institution of higher education.
Senator Priola.
Mr. Chair, I move House Bill 1252. There is no committee report.
To the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, this is a good cleanup bill that will create a civil penalty for websites that encourage cheating or basically write essays or have test questions for higher ed to diminish the quality of education that our students get. Ask for an aye vote.
Senator Neville.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Colleagues, I'll ask for a no vote on this today. I think I was the only no vote in committee. So, take it for what it is. But one of the things I can tell you, we're actually creating a penalty for something that has been probably going on since the dawn of time, the idea that people can cheat. And the question is, who should be penalized for the cheating? Where does the cheating actually initiate? We heard testimony from several professors who are concerned about their information being out on the web and possibly being utilized or copied. And of course, when we mentioned that there are copyright infringements and abilities of those individuals to actually seek redress from companies that are doing that, it changed a little bit, and it was a focus more on people actually completing assignments for individuals. Well, it's pretty simple. When that happens, an organization or a university or whatever should take steps to basically give that student either a 0 or possibly expel them. Creating a burden on the Attorney General to prosecute these cases is an interesting approach. And so I looked to the fiscal note because I figured if this is something that is important, of course, the Attorney General is going to have some kind of funds or mechanism to do this. And through the testimony, I kept hearing that this is just sort of a warning bell that's out there for these companies. And I mentioned that companies could very easily just say, oh, this is not intended for the purpose of completing an assignment or whatever. This is intended for just background work or whatever else. And of course, this doesn't deal with anyone who actually might complete an assignment. The football player's friend who completes an assignment for somebody, or anybody. I don't want to pick on football players, especially offensive linemen, since most of them have higher grades than most of their cohorts in their classes. So, the bottom line comes that we're creating another penalty out here. We're passing a law. We're creating another penalty. Is it basically a letter to Santa Claus? Well, the fiscal note tells you everything you need to know. There's no money in the fiscal note. So, yes, it's a letter to Santa Claus, and whether you vote aye or no, that's what it is. And I'm not one who believes in creating penalties on things that, frankly, we probably can't enforce or will not enforce. So I'll be a no vote today.
Senator Priola.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and to the good senator from Jefferson County, I appreciate the compliment. I was an offensive lineman, and yes, we do have higher grades than most of the other positions. But if you read the bill and read towards the bottom of page 3, this is basically a cleanup bill. What it does is modernize the language. What is already in law and is illegal is distribute any term paper, thesis, or written material, and it strikes that old language and it adds new language, assignment or answers to an online exam for a fee. When I was in high school and college, no one would understand what you're talking about if they had the term online exam, because the internet was still used just basically by scientists. So this bill updates statute, updates language, and to the fiscal note with the AG's office, it has the very important word may in it. This is not a penalty on students. This is a penalty on the bad actor websites that are popping up and trying to diminish the quality of education in the state of Colorado. Members, we want to modernize our statute and keep a higher ed degree in the state of Colorado worthwhile. I ask for an aye vote.
Any further discussion on House Bill 1252? Seeing none, the motion for the body is the adoption of House Bill 1252. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and House Bill 1252 is adopted. Mr. Carpenter, please read the title to House Bill 1355.
House Bill 1355 by Representatives Pedersen, Zayas, and Senators Gardner and Moreno concerning changes to the accountability system for the elementary and secondary public education system to strengthen the accountability system for the benefit of students.
Senator Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move House Bill 1355 and the Education Committee report.
To the Education Committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Education Committee, we just added some language that says when these public meetings are held, that if it is a district-authorized charter school, you must actually consult and work with the board of directors of that charter school in that school district before the public meeting is held. Ask for an aye vote.
Any further discussion on 1355? Seeing none, the motion for the body, any more discussion on the Education Committee report? Seeing none, the motion for the body is the adoption of the Education Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the Education Committee report is adopted. To the bill, Senator Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This bill improves our public education accountability structure in Colorado. It had broad support in the House, 63 aye votes. I appreciate working with Senator Moreno and the stakeholders on this bill. I ask for an aye vote.
Senator Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and colleagues. This makes some really important reforms to our accountability clock, and no one understands the gravity of this issue better than I do, having two school districts that are currently on that accountability clock. But truly, what this bill does is make some really important changes to make sure that the growth, the academic achievement that we expect of our school districts for every student in Colorado is actually sustainable. That going off into the future, all these districts won't just work to come off the clock for 1 year and all of a sudden they get another 5 years after that, that the growth is actually sustainable, and that they're making important systems reforms to ensure that all students have a great and quality education in our state. So with that, ask for your aye vote on this bill.
Any further discussion on House Bill 1355? Seeing none, the motion for the body is the adoption of House Bill 1355. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it, and House Bill 1355 is adopted. Mr. Carpenter, please read the title to House Bill 1295.
House Bill 1295 by Representatives Salazar and Escar and Senator Quorum concerning modifications to the Colorado Food and Drug Act to allow products containing industrial hemp in connection therewith, establishing that
Senator Quorum.
Products containing industrial hemp are not adulterated or misbranded by virtue of containing industrial hemp.
Senator Quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I moved House Bill 1295. Going back to the football analogy a while ago, they say you never take points off the board. But as you recall, this was on the consent calendar. And the reason it was on the consent calendar is the Agricultural Committee is so intelligent and so effective in efficiency that I had 3 bills up at the same time. And so when my bill came up to run in that committee, the chairman took the opportunity to pass the bill and put it on the consent calendar. Was unaware that I had amendments, and you know, it's probably fortunate that he cannot read my mind. I recently said to my wife, she was telling me something, and I said, I know what you're thinking, and she said, no, you don't, or you'd protect yourself. So that I would actually, I would move L005.
There is an amendment on the desk. Mr. Carpenter, please read L005.
Amendment L005 to House Bill 1295.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And basically, all this does is put it in a different place in statute. And ask for an aye vote.
Any further discussion on L005? Seeing none, the motion for the body is the adoption of L005. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. L005 is adopted. There is an amendment on the desk. Mr. Carpenter, please read L006.
Amendment L006, House Bill 1295.
Senator Quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All L06 does, it strikes lines 3 through 8 and substitutes what was there with addition to the word resins.
Any further discussion on L006? Seeing none, the motion for the body is the adoption of L006. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ayes have it. L006 is adopted. There is an amendment on the desk. Mr. Carpenter, please read L007.
Amendment L007, House Bill 1295.
Senator Quorum.
Thank you. It basically takes lines on page 3, lines 3 to 8, and adds that contains delta 9 tetracannabinoid concentration of no more than 0.3%.
Senator Corn, please move the amendment. Please move the amendment.
I move L007.
Any further discussion on L007? Seeing none, the motion from the body is the adoption of L007. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ayes have it, and L007 is adopted. There is an amendment on the desk. Ms. Carpenter, please read L008.
Amendment L008, House Bill 1295 by Senator Quorum. Amendment regross.
Senator Quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move L008.
The amendment.
This is actually just a guardrail, and it says this section doesn't allow an entity with Federal Drug Administration approval or its agent to prevent the non-pharmaceutical production, sale, and production of naturally occurring cannabidiol or cannabidiol extracts or resist the non-pharmaceutical production, sale, or distribution of naturally occurring cannabidiol. Ask for an aye vote.
Any further discussion on L008? Seeing none, the motion from the body is the adoption of L008. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ayes have it. L008 is adopted. Any further discussion on House Bill 1295? Seeing none, the motion from the body is the adoption of House Bill 1295. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it, and House Bill 1295 is adopted. Majority Leader Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move the committee rise and report.
The motion for the body is to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it, and the committee will rise and report.
Then we need to get names on that sheet. Senate will come back to order. Senator Cook.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your committee has met and had a number of bills under consideration. Will the clerk please read the report?
Mr. President, your committee of the whole legislative reports that under consideration the following tax bills being second reading thereof makes following recommendations to Senate Bill 219 is amended, passed second read order, gross place counter for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1252, House Bill 1355 is amended, House Bill 1295 is amended, passed second read order, revised place counter for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1152 laid over until 425, retaining its place on the calendar.
Senator Cook.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of the report.
Motion for the body is the adoption of the report to the committee of the whole. Are there any no votes? 35 ayes, or noes, or absent, 0 excused. The committee of the whole report is adopted. Senate Bill 219 is amended, passed on second reading, ordered engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1252, House Bill 1355 is amended, House Bill 1295 is amended, passed on second reading, and ordered revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1152 laid over until 425-18 and retaining its place on the calendar. Committee reports.
April 24th, 2018, Committee on Appropriations. After consideration of Mayor's Committee following Senate Bill 266, be referred to committee to hold a favorable recommendation. April 24th, 2018, Committee on Appropriations. After consideration of Mayor's Committee following Senate Bill 229, be amended as follows. As so amended, be referred to committee to hold a favorable recommendation. April 24th, 2018, Committee on Appropriations. After consideration of Mayor's Committee following Senate Bill 254, be amended as follows. As so amended, be referred to committee to hold a favorable recommendation. April 24, 2018, Committee on Appropriations. After consideration of Mayor's Committee following Senate Bill 253, be referred to the committee to hold a favorable recommendation. April 24th, 2018, Committee on Appropriations. After consideration of Mayor's Committee following Senate Bill 167, be amended as follows. As so amended, be referred to committee to hold a favorable recommendation. April 24, 2018, Committee on Appropriations. After consideration of the Mayor's Committee following House Bill 1280, be referred to committee to hold a favorable recommendation. Recommendation placed on the consent calendar. April 24, 2018, Committee on Appropriations. After consideration of Mayor's Committee following House Bill 1258, be amended as follows. As so amended, be referred to committee to hold a favorable recommendation. April 24, 2018, Committee on Appropriations. After consideration of Mayor's Committee following House Bill 1256, be amended as follows. As so amended, be referred to committee to hold a favorable recommendation. April 24, 2018, Committee on Appropriations. After consideration of Mayor's, the committee following House Bill 1241 be postponed indefinitely. April 24, 2018, Committee on Appropriations. After consideration of Mayor's Committee following House Bill 1174 be referred to committee to hold a favorable recommendation. Recommendation placed on the consent calendar. April 24th, 2018, Committee on Appropriations. After consideration of Mayor's Committee following House Bill 1155 be amended as follows. As so amended, referred to committee to hold a favorable recommendation. April 24th, 2018, Committee on Appropriations. After consideration of Mayor's Committee following House Bill 1070 be amended as follows. As so amended, be referred to committee to hold a favorable recommendation.
Message from the House.
The House has adopted and transmits herewith House Journal Resolution 1019 as printed in the House Journal April 24th, 2018.
Consideration of House amendments to Senate bills. Mr. Carpenter, would you please read the title to Senate Bill 15?
Senate Bill 15 by Senators Gardner and Hill and Representatives Williams and Liston concerning the Protecting Homeowners and Deployed Military Personnel Act.
Senator Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate reject House amendments, request that a conference committee be appointed, and that it be granted permission to go beyond the scope of this agreement.
Is there any discussion? The motion is for the Senate to not concur with House amendments to Senate Bill 15 and that a conference committee be appointed and that permission be granted to go beyond the scope of differences between the two chambers. Are there any no votes on the motion? With 35 ayes, 0 noes, or absent, 0 excused, that motion is adopted. The following senators are appointed as members of the First Conference Committee on Senate Bill 15. Senators Gardner as chair, Senator Hill, and Senator Kagan. Consideration of Governor's Appointments Consent Calendar. Mr. Carpenter, would you please read all the appointments on the Consideration of Governor's Appointments Consent Calendar? Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to lay over the Consideration of Governor's Appointments Consent Calendar consisting of members of the Solid and Hazardous Waste Commission to Monday, April 30th.
The motion is to lay over the Consideration of Governor's Appointments Consent Calendar, specifically those to the Solid and Hazardous Waste Commission, to Monday, April 30. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and those will lay over. Announcements. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. There may be other announcements, but I wanted to point out that Heather Lynn downstairs, our HR payroll benefits manager, has provided a flyer. I think you should have this on your desk. And we have open enrollment for 2018 starting April 24th, and it ends May 14th. So if you would please pay attention to that. Your benefit choices would begin being effective July 1st. So again, that open enrollment will be available to you from April 24th through May 14th. And those choices would become effective on July 1st. If you please find that flyer, it has a web address there for you and instructions on how to go about handling your open enrollment process. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, tomorrow is Denim Day. in support of victims of sexual assault and a day of remembrance for all the victims. We do have a couple of donation boxes up here at the front desks. For a donation of $5, you are allowed to wear jeans tomorrow. So please donate to this very important cause and remember to wear jeans tomorrow.
Senator Cook.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Senate Transportation Committee will be meeting today at 2 o'clock in room 352, and we'll be hearing Senate Bills 181, Senate Bill 78, and 268.
Senator Todd.
Thank you, Mr. President, and want to make sure that everyone is aware that tonight is a Holocaust Remembrance, My Silent Pledge. It is at Temple Emmanuel at 5:30 this evening, and an opportunity to hear from one of the few Holocaust survivors that is still here in Colorado. And so, again, encourage you to attend. If you need more information, I'm happy to share that. Thank you.
Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, just very quickly, I would like to call your attention. A week from today, on Tuesday morning, we will be having a memorial for one of our former colleagues that passed away, Senator Ken Kester. And I wanted to bring it to your attention now in case there are some of our former colleagues, those that we served with, that we know served with him, that you are aware of, that may not get that message, that they are welcome to come and attend that memorial next Tuesday morning here in the Senate chambers, probably towards the beginning of the events that morning. So just letting you all know that, just a memorial for Senator Ken Kester next Tuesday morning.
Any other announcements? Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate recess until 1 p.m. today.
Question before us is to recess until 1 p.m. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. We stand in recess until 1 p.m.